well this morning. Um, for a local area last night, I think y'all heard it. It was rain and storm in a good part of the night last night, and that's all from this upper level um, low pressure that's still hanging over our area. Even today, it's kind of becoming. It looks like you have some couple different parts to it here. Some broad flow this way, and the storm that impacted the North Dakota, South Dakota yesterday, and of course we have another upper level low pressure system that's moving this direction. It might impact our area again in next week. If I zoom out a little bit, there was it looks like for right now, the water vapor is indicating that low pressure system that's in the coming off the Yucatan Peninsula. Kind of lacking a lot of conviction right now, but National Hurricane Center thinks it's going to move offshore here not too long from now, or already is, and have the raised chance of development up to 40%. Ultimately, it's not going to directly impact the United States, but there'll be, of course, with storms like this, there's slow moving tropical storms, and not necessarily that strong, could provide just enough moisture and everything for a lot of rain and flooding, especially over higher terrain down here. We'll see what happens with it, but that's what's going on there. I wanted to. This is the a Google experimental. My pointer's not working on this page. Kind of looking at what the models are thinking for development here. You got the in the tropics. This is an AI based models in comparison with the best performing models out there. You could see an experimental model. A lot of the models hint at something, a pretty good cluster of them, something developing but not becoming very strong and dissipating over Mexico next day or two. So we're planning to have a weak depression or a tropical storm form the next day or so, but beyond that, not much impacts. Interestingly enough, there's some hint of developing off the eastern seaboard and another low pressure in the Pacific, possibly in by the 4th of July. We'll just have to see what happens there. Excuse me. So that's that, and let's see if the Weather Prediction Center has really said anything more about, or the CPC. There's still no change in the outlook here for the tropics, weeks 2 and 3 after that. So we'll just have to see what happens. Let's look at the excessive rainfall, considering how much rain that we got. Excuse me. Apologize for the coughing there. We're right on the edge of the marginal risk. There's a bunch of marginal risk in different parts of the U.S. here. Then it moves to the central U.S. for this is basically a risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point to the right of a line. So that's just what, and then it moves back towards us a little bit more again. This guidance may change, but that gives you a general idea. You see, they didn't even have us within that corridor today, and yet we had really heavy rain last night. So it goes to show you that even the best models can't predict that kind of stuff. The large scale pattern shows upper. Let's go back. Upper level low there, kind of filling in the time, and you can see my pointer's not behaving. But another upper level low. Like I talked about before, approaching the area again, which is very similar to what happened to us. You know, it's by the 1st of July. It's crazy. But we'll see how that plays out. But the overall pattern shifts to more progressive in the northern tier of the states, with some deeper flow up in the northeast, which isn't all that unusual this time of year, with a deep trough poised to enter the Pacific coast here, which is kind of unusual, really. And what does that mean? It means there's going to be some. When you have a troughiness on one side, you usually have a response in the opposite direction with high pressure on the other, and then on the other side of it, you'll have low pressure. The atmosphere always likes to balance, and given what this pattern is showing, you got an upper level low off the west coast, high pressure, which over the upper lower part of the U.S. southern tier, the Midwest high plains, pretty deep trough along the East Coast, Great Lakes, which this kind of pattern would favor um, mesoscale convective systems moving through these areas. As this pattern moves forward, this trough slowly moves out. This one is kind of hanging back. Eventually, kind of interesting here, another upper level feature right off the coast. I just wonder what that's showing at the surface. Nothing really. So it's kind of interesting if that plays out that way. What that'll you got a little broad high pressure system right here, and this low pressure aloft with this enhanced flow over here. That's pretty far out to predict that, with that precision. But you see the overall pattern here. That upper level flow is still pretty enhanced upper level trough over the west coast, with high pressure over this way, which the way this flow is oriented, for us, it's not going to be as hot, but it's still going to be hot. As far as temperatures go, let's look at what the temps are going to be looking like over the coming days. Go to the nothing. What was max temps? That represents what we're looking at here. Broad areas of 80s and 90s, which is not unexpected this time of year. Hotter down here, which is not unusual, and then really getting pretty hot again later in the period. Um, Precipitation estimates, as I kind of indicated, it's going to be very unsettled over the coming days. Heat risk, I'm going to keep showing this for a while. Increases along the mid-Atlantic, desert southwest, kind of eases off. And then, a higher risk along the southern tier, which we kind of indicated in the upper Midwest here, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Not nearly as much of an impact in the coming days as there was. There's a probabilistic precipitation that I go through every day, showing the possibility of at least a quarter inch. Let's see expected amounts here. See what it shows. It's now on Sunday. We're expecting, it looks like the expectation is to have a good chance of at least a quarter inch of precip pretty much every day, which higher amounts. In those favorite areas in the what I showed you in the flood risk map. So I want to bring up the current radar real quick and show you what that shows right now for us. That rain that was over our area has diminished quite a bit. What I wanted to show you was the total amount of precip that occurred in our area last night. Just south of Byron, it estimated in these areas almost 6-7 inches of rain. There was a flash flood warning, as you probably know, last night in this area. So you can see how much rain. There was a lot of rain last night. It just hung over our area for a very long time. For today, I expect a possibility of some fog this morning whenever we got a lot of rain, which is here, and then it should clear out by 9 or 10 a.m. And then good chance of storm showers and storms later today. Scattered in nature and with the possibility of some severe winds and rain. Whatever boundaries might set up, it's hard to really predict this far out. I mean, these kind of features are just hard to predict where they're going to set up. Anyway, hope you all have a good day, and thanks for watching.